All right, welcome back. This is it, the grand finale of our observability series. We've tackled Prometheus for metrics, Loki for logs, and Tempo for traces. And today, we're putting it all together. We're about to unlock the final and honestly the most powerful piece of the entire puzzle, correlation. This is where your stack stops being just a collection of tools and becomes a single, seamless debugging superpower. You know the feeling, right? It's 3 in the morning, an alert goes off, and your dashboard lights up. The error rate is spiking. You can see the metrics, so you know something is wrong, but those crucial questions are just hanging there. Where is the problem? Which specific request actually failed? Well, today, I'm going to show you how to go from that initial alert straight to the root cause in just 3 clicks. So let's really dig into why this is such a game changer. Debugging without correlation is what we're going to call the nightmare. But with correlation, it becomes the dream. And trust me, this isn't just about making life a little easier. It's about fundamentally changing how fast you can solve critical incidents. Let me just break this down. On the left, you've got the nightmare scenario. An alert fires and suddenly you're drowning in tabs. You're frantically copy-pasting trace IDs, manually searching through mountains of logs. It's chaos, and it easily eats up over 30 minutes. Now, look at the dream on the right. You click the metric spike, and you see the traces. You click a trace, you see the logs. It's a straight line, getting you to the root cause in under 2 minutes. This is the power we're unlocking today. So, the magic behind this dream scenario is what I like to call the correlation triangle. It's built on those 3 pillars of observability we've been talking about. But here's the crucial difference. They're not separate anymore. They are linked together, each one telling a part of a single cohesive story about what's happening in your system. First up, you've got metrics. Metrics tell you what is happening. They're your smoke detectors, your early warning system. An error rate spike or a jump in latency is basically a metric screaming, hey, something over here is wrong. But, it doesn't give you the full story. Next, we have logs. Logs tell you why it happened. This is where you get the rich, detailed context, the actual narrative. An error message like connection timeout, well, that's the golden ticket that explains the symptom you saw in your metrics. And finally, traces. Traces tell you where the problem is. A trace is like a GPS track for a single request as it weaves its way through your whole system. It pinpoints the exact service, the specific function, and the very span where that failure occurred. It shows you the epicenter of the issue. Okay, let's start building. Our first connection is going to link the what from our metrics directly to the where in our traces, and the piece of tech that makes this magic happen is called exemplars. So what exactly is an exemplar? Well, think of it like a little bookmark on your metric graph. It's a reference, specifically a trace ID, that's attached to one single data point. So when you see that big latency spike on your graph, an exemplar can point you to the exact trace from a request that was part of that spike. It's incredible. First things first, we need to tell Prometheus to actually store these things. It's a super simple config change. You just add this exemplar storage flag when you start up the server. This basically turns on a special storage just for holding these trace IDs, making them ready to be linked from your graphs. Once that's enabled in Prometheus, setting it up in Grafana is, honestly, a piece of cake. You just pop into your Prometheus data source settings, find the exemplars section, flick the switch to enable it, and then just tell it which data source to link to, which for us is Tempo. The very last step is to tell it the label name that holds your trace ID, which is almost always trace_ID. And that's it. You're done. Fantastic. We've connected metrics to traces. Now let's connect our why, our logs, to our where. We're going to take that plain text trace ID just sitting in your logs and turn it into an instantly actionable, clickable link using a feature in Loki called derived fields. Derived fields are, well, they're kind of a superpower for your Loki data source in Grafana. All you do is give it a little regular expression that can find and pull out a piece of data from your log line, like a trace ID. Grafana then grabs that value and turns it into a live link that connects it to another one of your data sources. And here's what that looks like in practice. In your Loki data source settings, you just create a new derived field. Give it a name, something like trace ID, then you drop in the regex to find the ID, something like trace ID equals W+. Toggle on internal link, pick your Tempo data source, and you are good to go. And the result of that tiny bit of configuration is just beautiful. Every single trace ID that shows up in your logs is now a blue clickable link. You click it, and boom, the corresponding trace opens instantly in a split view right there next to your logs. No more copy-pasting ever again. All right, let's close the loop. We've gone from metrics to traces and from logs to traces. Now we're going to complete the circle by making it possible to jump from any trace span right back to its relevant logs. Inside your tempo data source settings in Grafana, you'll see a section called Trace to Logs. You just enable it, choose your looky data source, and then map a couple of key tags, like service.name, so Tempo knows where to look. Most importantly, you make sure Filter by Trace ID is toggled on. This tells Grafana to automatically build a low-key query using the trace ID of whatever span you're looking at.
Okay, we've built all the connections. The correlation triangle is complete. Now, let's put it all together and see how this completely changes the game during a real-world incident. Let's walk through the 3-click debugging workflow.
All right, picture this. It's 3 a.m., your dashboard is flashing red with payment errors. Click 1, you see the spike, and you click that little exemplar diamond right on the graph. Instantly, you're looking at the trace. Click 2, the trace view opens and the problem just jumps out at you. A huge red span showing a 5-second timeout in the payment service. We're so close. Click 3, you hit the logs for this span button, and there it is, clear as day in the logs. Connection timeout to payment gateway. That's it, root cause found. 3 clicks from alert to answer. And this just drives the whole point home. The difference is absolutely staggering. What used to be 30, maybe 45 minutes of stressful manual searching is now under 2 minutes. This isn't just about saving time. It's a massive reduction in your mean time to resolution, which means less downtime, less impact on your users, and way less stress for you and your team. So, now that you have this new superpower, how do you build a command center that puts all this power right at your fingertips when an incident hits? Let's talk about building the ultimate correlated dashboard. Here are a few key best practices to live by. First, consistency is everything. Use the same labels for things like service names across all your metrics, logs, and traces. Make it a non-negotiable rule that trace ID is included in every single application log. Turn on exemplars for your most important metrics, your golden signals like latency and errors. And please test your correlations before a 3 a.m. fire drill. And finally, bring it all together on a single dashboard so you have one unified view. And with that, our series is complete. Just look at everything we've accomplished. You've built an entire observability stack: Prometheus, Loki, Tempo, OpenTelemetry, and today you learned the final crucial step: how to wire them all together with correlation for a ridiculously powerful debugging experience. So here's the bottom line. You now have a complete, enterprise-grade observability skill set. You've got the tools, you've got the knowledge, and you can debug pretty much any incident in minutes, not hours. Congratulations on finishing this series. Now go build some amazing observable